Happy Saturday. We are excited for the radio show today. Let me tell you, if you're curious, how is rising interest rates affecting our market and everything here? Or if you want to know some really cool things that are going on today, stay tuned or listen on KLVI. I have some great guests. We have Stephen Lee with First Financial Bank. We have Andy Hemmings with Capital Title. And then we have Kristie Young with the Chamber of Commerce. So you guys stay tuned. You'll want to be a part of what we have going on today. Well, hello, Southeast Texas. We are so glad you're here with us today. We have some incredibly wonderful guests today. We have, your top of the top guests with us. So let me introduce them to you so you can get to know them. If you have any questions today regarding what's the market doing, how is the interest rate impacting things here in Southeast Texas, you hear that national news, and national news kind of gives you a blanket idea of what's going on. But we're completely separate here at Southeast Texas. What's going on here locally? How is it going to impact us? We want to talk to some of our guests about how that might happen. So first with us today, we have Kristie Young with the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce. She is the Vice President of Economic Development. Kristie, so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell us just a little bit about you, Kristie.
Okay, well, I grew up in Anilac, Texas, and then I went to A&M and then moved to Beaumont. So I've been here basically my whole life in Southeast Texas. So I love living here. I have 2 boys and my husband, and we're proud to call Beaumont home.
Yeah, I love that we have so many people in Beaumont who know Beaumont. I mean, number one, also we have to mention you're an Aggie,
That's
which
right.
You've got lots of people out there I know that are going whoop,
Whoop, that's right. Exactly.
But you got your degree and then came back here to help benefit our area, and I love that.
Yeah, so my background is nonprofit management, oil and gas, and then I landed in economic development. And I tell you, I started about a year ago, and it has been nonstop. It's been great. I love it.
Yeah, and it sounds like all that you did before just really prepared you for where you are now.
I know, and it wasn't on purpose. I just kind of fell into all of this, but it's been great.
I love when it happens that way. It's like each step leads you to the next, and then it's like, yes, this is exactly where I needed to be.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know why those doors open, but you just go through them.
And you say, thank you, Lord.
Exactly.
So it's a good thing. We also have Andy Hemmings here. Andy is with Capital Title. He is the Business Development Manager. That's a mouthful.
Yes. Basically, my job is to help spread the news about Capital Title and bring business in the door.
Yeah.
So, I did grow up here in Beaumont, and proud graduate of South Park High School, the last graduating class of South Park High School.
Wow.
And a graduate of Lamar University. Moved off for a bit after college, but came back to start the family. It was when I got into real estate in 1998, and have experience as a real estate broker for 20 years, and I'm now happy to be in the title insurance side of it. Real estate is just my passion. I just believe so strongly in it, what it means for personal wealth, personal happiness, and I just love being a part of this industry.
Yeah, and you grew up in it too, though. You have to
Right.
give your mom it's Mother's Day weekend.
Thank you, Dana.
Give your
Thank you
mom
for pitching that over
shout
right
out.
down the middle of the plate for me. So, yes, my mom was in real estate for 25 years, and she was one of the co-owners of a major real estate brokerage here, and she's the one that got me into the business in 98. And I went to work with her, and she retired soon after. But I was really proud to work with her. She was just an excellent real estate agent and showed me what it meant to be a good realtor and to help guide people through that process. So I was very, very fortunate to have her guide me.
Yeah. She's a great person, but she was a great realtor when she was
Absolutely
doing the business.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Yeah.
Love
Good
this
job.
show.
Yeah.
Okay, Stephen Lee. He is the president of First Financial Bank in all of Southeast Texas. Or what's the official title, Stephen?
Yeah, CEO and president of First Financial here in Southeast Texas.
Yeah.
And been in that role now for 15 years.
Yeah, and
It's like
you're
120 in banking years.
Yeah, you just kept going.
Yeah.
And you've been here all your life here
I
as
have.
well.
Born and raised in Orange. Like Andy, I'm a Lamar graduate as well. And, this is my home. Has been my home. Like Andy, I love this business. Love what we do in people's lives. And looking forward to talking to you about it today.
Yeah, and it's not just your business. The thing I know about you, Stephen, is you're involved in so many nonprofits and other things. So each person here, what I love about what you each do is you have bought in to making Southeast Texas a successful area. You not only have your business here and do your business here, but you're all involved in a lot of extracurricular things to improve our area and grow our area. And that's one of the things that just makes me love what I get to do here, to be able to bring those people who do that here and they can share a little bit about that. Some of the things that I wanted to mention that are going on today, and I know Andy's going to talk more about a couple of things down at the beach, but for those of you who don't know, we have some really cool things in Southeast Texas today. So if you haven't looked on the City of Beaumont app or looked at their Facebook page, it's called Visit Beaumont, Texas. Today is a great day to bring Mom out to the Mediterranean Festival. You can go to St. Michael, the Orthodox Christian Church, and they have incredible food, incredible fun events. So if you haven't made a plan for Mom yet and you're scrambling, you can pretend. Hey, Mom, I have this great event I want to take you to. And that's one of the things that you can do. There's also the Boys Haven 37th Annual Crawfish Festival. Who doesn't love them some good crawfish, right?
Right.
So down at the event center, take yourself down there and get you some good crawfish. There's also a Mother's Day downtown market at Poor Brothers Brewery. That's a mouthful too.
Moms like beer too.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And if Mom likes a mint julep, there is a Kentucky Derby party at 5 Under Golf Center today. So, you have lots of time to get her over there, show her some love this weekend. If you haven't thought about it, think about it. I had a wonderful gift arrive at my office yesterday, some beautiful flowers for my son Ryan, and I was just like, that's so sweet. So do something for your mom, make her feel special. Today we do have a lot of things we want to get to and talk about what's going on here, but if you have any questions for any of these guests, don't forget to give us a call, 896-KLVI, and they can answer those questions, whether it's about banking or our economic development or in the title industry or just real estate in general, because that's what I do. We'd be glad to answer those questions. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Kristie Young of the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce, Vice President of Economic Development, and she's going to give us an idea of what's going on in Beaumont. So stay with us. You're not going to want to miss it, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're so happy that you're listening today. We have some incredible guests. Kristie Young with Beaumont Chamber of Commerce. She's the Vice President of Economic Development. We're about to talk to her about what's going on in Southeast Texas. But first, I wanted to give you a little market snapshot. So, how are the rising interest rates impacting our market? Well, let me tell you, real estate is still moving. We are still low in our inventory. We have less than 2 months of inventory. So if you're thinking about selling, now is an incredible time. But I have people say, but Dayna, if I sell, I have to buy. Yes, and we have some tips and tools for you to use that if you want to, you can buy before you sell. We're going to be talking about that in a couple of weeks, but if you have questions about that, you're welcome to call our office at 409-866-TEAM, which is 409-866-8326, and one of our agents can take your information and we can share with you ways that you can buy before you sell. In Beaumont, we have lots going on. There's a lot of growth going on. So, Kristie, let's talk about what is going on in our area.
Well, we usually say we have about $65 billion worth of projects that are either underway or planned. And that's really just an industrial number. That doesn't count TxDOT and the Port of Beaumont in the retail sector. So that number really is a lot larger than even that.
And you said 65 billion with a B.
With a B.
That's awesome.
Right. And that's over the next 5-7 years. And we think we're going to need an additional 40,000 workers over the lifespan of those projects. So that's a lot of people coming in and out of our area to do these various jobs.
Which, with people coming in, what do they need? Housing. And so that's going to continue to impact our housing market. So while some people are very nervous that we're going to see a drop in house sales, it's hard to know. I don't have a crystal ball, but one of the things that we're looking at is what's coming to our area should keep our real estate market pretty steady.
That's right, and that's just what's been announced. So I've been at the chamber for about a year now, and it has been the busiest that they've ever seen it. In the first 3 months of last year, they said it was busier than the last 3 to 4 years combined.
Wow.
So that doesn't count all the projects that we're working on that we can't announce yet.
Right.
Too. So you add that, so I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, and not all of those workers are going to be buying. Many of them will be renting. Some of them will live in a trailer on one of those really cool places that has started a trailer park. But some of those people will be buying because many of those will be permanent positions. So we're seeing a continual influx of people wanting to buy property locally as well as those who are relocating into the area. So tell me, what else do you see? I know there are some things you can't announce, but what do you see on the chamber side as far as additional things happening?
Well, a lot of these are large manufacturing projects, but we're also seeing a lot of grain projects coming through. And that is going to help diversify our economy. We've been saying that for years, right? We need to diversify. We're seeing a lot of retail things coming in downtown. There's a high-end steakhouse going in Crockett Street and 2 other places down there that will be announced in the next 90 days. Hearsay's opening downtown, I think, at the end of this month. So lots of different retail things coming in as well. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, we love our oil and gas industry, and we're so thankful that we have it here. But you're exactly right. There is that need to diversify and make sure that we're not completely dependent on that. So not only in Beaumont, but also in Orange. We're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks. We're also seeing a lot of different things coming to the area, which will allow the continued growth. I am so excited about that. When we see growth here, we see lots of new things happening. We see lots of buildings going up. We see a new bank being built in Lumberton. So we have Andy Hemmings with Capital Title, and we'll talk about what they have going on down at the beach. But let me talk to Stephen Lee a little bit about what's going on in Lumberton. So I see First Financial doing some things that way.
Well, Dayna, we've looked at this Hardin County market for a while and just couldn't ignore the explosive growth that's going on in that market. And it's a dynamic market. It's got a lot of competition, but we feel like it's just perfect for our bank. We're very much service oriented. We have a lot of customers already in that market, and they've been asking us to build. And And so we're excited. We're bringing a bank that's right there next to Walmart. It's actually across the street from Walmart, right just north of the high school there in Lumberton. So we're thrilled about being there. The housing market is a big part of the reason why we're going there. That housing market is one of the strongest in the area. And we look at it and we see even more opportunity over the next 5 years than we saw in the last 5 years. And so it's one of the things we look for when we look to expand our presence, and we're thrilled about being there.
Yeah, and to talk a little bit about your presence, I mean, First Financial has offices all over Southeast Texas, so it's a convenient way for anyone to be able to bank. But let me just say, I'm a personal customer of First Financial Bank. And what I love the most about First Financial Bank is the personal attention. And I'm talking to the person who is sitting there across the desk, who actually lives in Southeast Texas, who's a part of our community, who is very interested in me. I know that sounds selfish, but I want my banker to be interested.
And Dayna, I take great pride in the fact I'll hand you my card right now. It's got my cell phone number on it. I'm available 24/7. You can call, text anytime you have a question or a need. We're available, and all of our bankers are that way. And we're a $14 billion holding company with offices all the way from Orange, Texas to Hereford, Texas, up in the Panhandle. But all that does is that affords us the strength to accommodate our customers' needs. But what makes us different is the personal service that we offer those customers and our availability to those customers. And that's what to me is the most important part of banking. I always tell people you never know you need a banker till you need a banker.
Right. Yeah. And what I love about it is you have the resources of a big bank, but you're a small bank, not a small bank, but you're a local bank.
Right.
Invested in the community.
Right. And that's one of the things we pride ourselves in. We're a $14 billion holding company, but we really operate as 12 different regional banks across the state of Texas, each of which are molded to fit the needs of the communities they serve. Our bank is significantly different than the bank you'll find in Hereford, Texas. All they do in Hereford is make ag loans. I can learn how to make an ag loan, but I've never made one.
Right. Yeah, because you're doing what we do here locally.
Right.
Which is investing in the people here.
Right.
So, and we're seeing growth even with Capital Title as well. So as you guys have just opened up a new office as well. Andy Hemmings with Capital Title. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Thanks, Dayna. And I'm sitting here listening to Stephen talk about the growth of First Financial and the culture of First Financial and Capital Title. Really, we have that same philosophy, that same spirit, that same culture. And yes, our newest office is down at Crystal Beach, down at the beach. Today is the Crab Festival down there, by the way. We sponsored the Wiener Dog races. There was 50 Wiener Dogs this year. And so we were the proud sponsor of that. But yeah, that's our newest office, because that market down at the beach has been very, very strong. Prior to that, we opened an office in Lumberton as well, just a little over a year ago, because we saw the growth, just like Stephen was talking about. We saw the growth out there in that area. So we have 5 offices here locally: Orange, Port Arthur, Beaumont, Lumberton, and now down at the beach. But Capital Title, it was started by Bill Shattuck, who is an Orange native. He's a local guy, and he's real proud of this area, real proud of his roots, and he's grown Capital Title to be the largest independently owned title company in the country. We have over 115 offices across the state. We handle all transactions. We've done title for big petrochemical plants even. We're just proud to be part of this community and just proud to see the growth that we're seeing around here.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's what I love about Capital Title too. It was started by someone who lives here in Southeast Texas, who has a deep interest in what's going on here. It's not just, I'm just starting a business to make some money. It's about being rooted here and seeing the value of giving great service and wanting to do well for Southeast Texas. Well, we have lots more to talk about. We're going to go here to a break here shortly, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and give these guys a call, and let's ask them any questions you may have. This is the Dayna Simmons Show.
A few years ago, we decided to implement a client services team, which is also called our inside service agents. And the reason we've done this is to really step up our customer service level. It's a service we provide completely for free. A lot of people might not even understand what that means or why it's important to them as a consumer, but we are licensed agents trained on the market and know the current trends in mortgage information. We can answer every single question just like an agent can, but the difference is we're not going to sell you a darn thing. There is no pressure. We're only here to answer your questions and guide you in the right direction. And when the time is right, we can get you set up with one of our awesome team members.
On 560 KRDI to join the conversation. Call 1-986-KLBI.
Welcome back. This is Dayna Simmons, and we are talking about how the higher interest rate is impacting or not impacting things in Southeast Texas. Are we seeing continued growth? We've heard lots of wonderful things from Kristie Young with the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce talking about the economic development and $65 billion that we have
That's
in the
right.
pipeline, right?
That's right.
And you were talking about there are some things that you can't even talk about yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are going on that it's not part of that $65 billion. So you'll see that number continue to increase.
Yeah, and I was so excited to hear you talk about downtown as well. You know, that's such a great location for so much good. And to
Yes.
hear that we have an incredible steak place going in down there, I mean, it's a beautiful area, and it's a great place to be able to continue to create growth with the community, with the event center being down there, and now adding some additional items. That's going to really help.
That's right. And I've gone downtown on the weekends, and I cannot believe how many people are around the event center enjoying and utilizing it, and the scooters and the bicycles and everything. So downtown really has this, feeling of being alive even on the weekends. So it's
Yeah.
great.
So there's revitalization going on down there, which we're so excited about. But Kristie, you were talking about there are a couple of other things for people who are moving to the area that the chamber offers. So the community concierge program. Talk to us a little bit about that.
That's right. If anyone is looking to move to the area, we have a form that they can fill out that asks some specific questions. And so when they come to the area, we'll take them on a tour. We'll introduce them to people. It's not just say, oh, here's a list of resources. We really want to help make the connections, because so many times the spouse will come in and maybe they came here for the job, but those other spouse and the family members do not get assimilated into the community, and then they want to leave. So our goal is to try to make sure the whole family feels a part of the community.
It is so important. That's one of the things that we do at Dayna Simmons Real Estate is we want to make sure that when people relocate here that they understand all of the benefits of what we have here in Southeast Texas. Because Kristie, you're exactly right. The spouse, if they don't know anything and they're staying at home and they're not connecting, they don't have the work group to be able to connect with those people. So we want to be able to get them involved in other things. And I love that Beaumont offers that community concierge, because when we get people here in Southeast Texas, I'm telling you, when they go to leave, I always hear positive. There are so many relocating with the oil industry, and yeah, they're just here 3 to 5 years. So when they go to leave, I always like to say, so tell me what you like, tell me about your stay here. And they always say the people are awesome.
That's the number one thing we hear. They cannot get over how friendly and how helpful our community is.
Yeah, and allowing other people to kind of come on in. In some communities, I think they're kind of cliquish.
Mm-hmm.
But what we have here, because we have so many transient workers that are coming in for several years and then going again, I think they're just very accepting, and we love getting them connected, and I think that's a great thing that the Chamber can do. You were also talking about a program that you have that's called Make My Move. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's right. That is a national program. The people that did Angie's List created this because they saw a need. Remote workers can live anywhere they want to, so maybe they're up north and they're tired of the snow. Come down to Beaumont. We've got a great climate. So it matches people up with areas based on all of this algorithms and things. And so that's another thing we're trying to attract those people to our community as well.
Yeah, love that. I mean, if you can live anywhere and work, why wouldn't you want to come to Southeast Texas? We have all kinds of great things that you can do within an hour. We have Rayburn, not too far, which is growing. We have the beach. We have Houston, where you can go for a visit but not have to deal with traffic every day. So
Yes.
we have some incredible things in Southeast Texas that allow people to have a wonderful life but not have to deal with some of the challenges. So I love that you guys are working on that as well. And Andy, when we're talking about that, you have go ahead and tell me what you have.
Just a couple days ago, I went to a presentation with a guy. He recently bought 5,000 acres of land on the I-10 corridor out in Orange County.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about that more at a later time. But here's the deal. He purchased this land, actually sight unseen, got a pretty good deal on it, but he knew this area was growing. But everything that y'all are saying is exactly what he said when I talked with him. He said he couldn't believe everything that was here, all the opportunities here, all the things to do, the quality of life here. As he drove around, he went to the event center. He saw the event center. He's like, this is fantastic. Just drove around the whole area, and he said the main thing that struck him, though, was the people.
Yeah.
How nice. He said, everybody I talked to is nice. So he's so excited about this area. He's got some different ideas of what he wants to do to develop that land. But I think it just speaks to the fact of what a treasure we have here in Southeast Texas for what this region is. I used to live in Austin 25 years ago. Austin is totally different now. It is so busy, so crowded, so crazy.
So expensive.
And so expensive.
Yes.
Talk about expensive.
Yeah.
But here, I mean, it's just been such a great place to raise our family. It just, the quality of life here is, it's just such a wonderful place to live, raise a family, and tons of stuff to do. That when I was growing up, there wasn't much to do around here, quite frankly. But now, every weekend, pretty much every night, you can go find some live music somewhere, which I love. There's just a lot to do around here. So just wanted to piggyback on what y'all were saying there.
I think we take it for granted, though, Andy. When you've lived here like we have all your life.
Yeah.
And what I love about this job is I get to hear the perspective from people who come here. And then when they start talking about all the things that they see that we see every day, we sometimes don't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that we have to do that we don't go do,
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity we have. Speaking of which, hey, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is at the Beaumont Community Players.
Whoa.
Yeah. So speaking of things, if you don't know what to do or where to go, we have great Facebook pages that can give you all kinds of information. How many of you have been to Shangri-La, the Botanical Gardens?
Or the theater.
Or
Waitress.
yes.
Coming. Yes.
Shangri-La is unbelievable.
The opportunities we have to connect with our community, be a part of the community, and all of the arts and the lakes, the beach. I mean, we really do have so many things that we need to be thankful for and that are attracting, just like Andy said, other people to come to our area. So yeah, that, my intro song, God Bless Beaumont, Southeast Texas, is what it should say.
Well, I love what Kristie's doing. I think she's
Yeah.
doing she's right on the money with respect to our workforce has been largely transient for a long time. It's always been frustrating to me because how do we keep those people here? How do we make sure that when they come to Southeast Texas, they stay in Southeast Texas?
Right.
And I've always looked at our value proposition, and I've said it's a great value proposition. All the things you've talked about, plus in the grand scheme of things, we're still relatively affordable.
Right.
Certainly cost of real estate's gone up, cost of a lot of things has gone up everywhere, but if you look at Southeast Texas from an affordability standpoint, our market is still extremely affordable, especially given the value from an income perspective. The jobs here are paying great right now,
Yeah.
and have been going up consistently, and the job market is very strong. Long-term jobs, not just construction jobs. I'm talking long-term jobs are very, very attractive here, and so, I look at it and say, let's convince more people to make this their home. I think that's a great mission, and applaud you for what you're doing there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you talk about the affordability, I was in a conference last week in Nashville, and top producing real estate brokerages and agents from across the nation. I mean, they do a lot of real estate, and it's amazing how challenging. We think our market is challenging. Their market is incredibly challenging. One of the agents was talking about they only have 56 active listings. 56, that's all. Many of the homes are going for $100,000 over asking price, and they're dealing with normal people aren't able to buy homes because people are paying so much over. So, Stephen, the point that you made about the affordability of our homes, it's exactly right. For what we have here, there is no way in other areas people could even touch a house for our average sales price of $200,000.
Right.
That's not even possible in other areas.
Yeah. Check out Austin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that still our average sales price right now? It's about $200,000.
So when you look at the average sales price when they say Jefferson County, it's $200,000.
Wow.
But in Lumberton, it's $250,000.
Sure. Yeah.
And
But that's still low from a national.
$225 in Orange.
Right.
So
And the national average is 400 and something. I
that's
think.
exactly right.
Right.
So the affordability here is, even with the interest rates going up, people are still able to, Andy, you and I were talking just a minute ago about what was the interest rate when you bought your house?
That was 8%.
8%.
And we were happy to get it at the time.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. When Ken bought his home, it was like 14%. So, it's all relative. And while, yes, rates are increasing, home ownership is still the foundation of building wealth in our area. And when we talk about the fact that, yes, prices have gone up, what I love about what Kristie is saying and what we're all saying is we're still seeing growth here. So for a lot of people, they're like, okay, the bottom's going to fall out. We're going to burst. We're going to have a bubble. Southeast Texas has experienced some lulls in real estate. I've been doing this 28 years, so I've seen it. We've seen the ups and downs, but nothing to the point of where other larger cities are seeing that. When they see a huge drop, we see a slight drop.
Right.
When they see a huge increase, we see a slight increase.
Right.
I love that about our area. I love that we're not seeing those way high hills and way low valleys. We're just kind of in the, a little bit of up and down, and that's fine. That keeps us going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have lots more to talk about, so when we come back, ask your questions. Give us a call, 409-896-5584, and let them answer any kind of question that you have. Listen, this is your opportunity. You have some really special people in this room with lots and lots of knowledge, so give us a call. This is the Dayna Simmons Show, and we'll be right back.
of and Grace.
Conversation. Call 409-896-KLBI or 800-330-KLBI.
Hi, this is Dayna Simmons, and you're listening to the Dayna Simmons Show. Let me just say, I really wish you guys could hear what we talk about in the break. These guys here have so much knowledge and so many good conversation pieces. One of the things that Stephen Lee just mentioned, the benefit that we have for Lamar University. In our last segment, we were talking about that. All the things we have here that make Southeast Texas such an incredible place. And Stephen, you know a lot about that because you are the regent.
Well, I'm one of the regents of the Texas State University system, which includes Texas State University, Sam Houston, Sul Ross, and actually our 4 Lamar campuses here in Southeast Texas. So a lot of people don't realize we have that benefit. I mean, it's unusual for Southeast Texas, a community that's our size in aggregate, to have 4 separate campuses, all part of the same university system, and they each provide such incredible resources to our community, both from the people that they educate, the opportunities that they provide our population, and also just for what they do for our community. So I'm thrilled to be a part of that effort, and I certainly would be remiss if in our conversation about quality of life and the things that our community offers if I didn't mention the unique proposition that we have with those 4 campuses here in Southeast Texas.
And you're a graduate of Lamar.
I am.
Andy's a graduate of Lamar. Both of my children went to Lamar. And my daughter got her master's there.
And I'm always amazed, Dayna, at some of the incredibly talented people who have been born and raised here and graduated from Lamar and gone on to incredible careers in different places, and then those that have stayed right here and made an incredible impact on our community. And I feel privileged to be a part of that group, and certainly happy to be part of this system today. So, I do want your listeners to know how incredibly valued that is, and look into it, because I mean, you won't find a more affordable education program than you find through Lamar State College, Orange, Port Arthur, LIT, and Lamar University. Just incredibly affordable. The value proposition is unparalleled.
And the quality of education.
Yes,
Great
it's
nationally ranked in many of their programs, the nursing program, the engineering program.
Absolutely.
So, it's not like, okay, well, it's a great value proposition, but, it's not the best education. It's a quality education.
Yeah, Lamar was just named in the top 5 in the United States from a value proposition, what its graduates out of its engineering program are making in relation to what the cost of their education was. Top 5 in the country, which is incredible.
That is incredible.
Yeah. And so, Andy, you were talking about even your daughter is going there.
Yeah, my daughter, Grace, she's going to LIT to get a lot of her basics done, which will transfer on over to Lamar when she's ready. But that value proposition, it's unbelievable how affordable it is. People talk about how you have to go into a lot of debt when you go to, you don't. I mean, literally, she took 15 hours, all in tuition, fees, books, everything was $1,800.
Wow.
Incredible. $1,800, and she loves the classes. The classes are smaller. She parks there at LIT, can walk right there. It's just real convenient. She likes the smaller class size, and so I think it's a great fit for a lot of our youth out there who don't want to go into a lot of debt to get a good college education. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention my son-in-law, who is my other son, who also graduated from Lamar. But what I do love is exactly what you said. We were able to send them to college without them having to have a ton of debt whenever they finished. And, we see that as a hot topic in national news, talking about paying off all of this college debt.
Which prevents you from buying a house when you have all that debt.
Exactly.
It keeps you from it prevents you from getting into that wealth building stream. So
You're right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's one of those things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
Because it's here, we think, I want to go away and do something somewhere else. And we forget the benefit of what we have here locally. And while there are phenomenal schools out there, we also have a phenomenal school here. So it should be part of the conversation with our students. I know, Kristie, you were talking about how even at Westbrook, they're bringing in some of the classes there. I know they do that at Lamar too. At Lumberton as well. So, and then bringing in even the LIT side of it with the real estate courses, right?
Yeah, well, this is going to be at BISD, actually, in their career and technical education program. They will offer a free real estate class.
Yeah.
So seniors can graduate with their license. And so that, we do a lot with workforce training at the chamber. And it's great to see that BISD starts when these kids are in pre-K to expose them to as many different career options as possible, because the possibilities are endless by the time they graduate, and they want to make sure that they expose them. And like you said, not everybody will go on to a 4-year education immediately upon graduation, but they know they have options.
Yeah.
And so they're doing a great job.
And that's what LIT offers too. I love that. It's not always just that 4-year degree. If that's not something you want to do, if you want to start there, that's great. But it also enables you to get a degree or get a certification that allows you to actually go straight into a job with very little college requirements as far as a 4-year degree.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So,
and right
ahead.
right here at this table, we've got the lending, the sales, and the title side of the real estate industry here. And I'll just go ahead and mention, there are so many job opportunities out there in the real estate industry in these 3 different fields that that you can make a good living doing it.
And we're all looking.
I
Yeah.
think we have a guest that you guys may recognize. Bill, are you on the line?
Oh boy.
Hey,
Hey, Bill.
So glad you called in. Bill Shattuck with Capital Title, and we are so excited that you called us. So I know you know a couple of these guys in here, and you might know some things that you can't talk about on the radio too, huh? Okay.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, Bill, that's exactly what we've been talking about. You're exactly right. How is that going to impact it? And so for the Facebook audience that doesn't know, Bill Shattuck with Capital Title was asking about how is the higher interest rate going to impact us here locally? And so you guys, you want to say any additional comments about where you see that going?
Yeah, well, go ahead, Stephen.
Well, what I'd say is that, we've now seen 2 rate increases in the last 2 months. And, the only thing that I've seen anecdotally is I've seen continued surge in demand from a lending standpoint. I've seen continued surge in our mortgage activity. I only see things accelerating at this point in time. What further interest rate increases will ultimately do, I can't see that far out. But Bill, what I'd tell you is right now, Southeast Texas is as strong as I've seen it in my 30-year banking career. And all signs, continue to point straight green. $65 billion in projects, that's unparalleled. I can also, given the fact that COVID effectively pushed out so many maintenance projects that are now kicking off. Just in general, the entire economic front is very, very strong. There's a lot of healthcare projects going on. Orange is getting a new hospital. There's a lot of expansion going on in the healthcare industry right now, specifically here in Southeast Texas. That's positive. Lamar, all of the campuses that we just talked about, they're all growing and thriving, and they're working on a $70 million grant right now that could be hugely beneficial to our region. The spinal coast, what do you call it? This spinal core, I guess, that they're talking about building a seawall throughout Orange County to prevent further impact from future storms. That would be a tremendous economic benefit for our area. All of those things are incredibly positive and driving momentum from an economic standpoint that's offsetting the impact of any increases in interest rates that we've been seeing.
Yeah, and just to add just a small amount, those are excellent statistics you just gave there. And I think we were talking about earlier how even with interest rates going up historically, they're still really low.
Yeah.
When you look at it in the context of where interest rates have been over the past 10, 15, 20 years. So even though they're going up a little bit, they're still low. And our housing affordability here is still very low relative, to looking on a national, even statewide level. So all this economic growth we're talking about is going to help just keep our housing market and our real estate market continuing to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why I really wanted to have all of you guys on today. We listen to the national news and we hear all the doom and gloom, and there are some challenges out there. We really have some. But I also wanted to point out that here in Southeast Texas, we have a lot of great things going on, and we have a lot of positive things going on. We have people moving here
Mm-hmm.
from other areas of the country where, it's not as desirable for a lot of different reasons. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And we want to have you back on the show. We'll have to do that again. We have had I'm going to reach out to you, and we're going to do that. But we're about to wrap up. We have had an incredible show. Thank you so much for everyone listening, and happy Mother's Day. This is the Dayna Simmons Show.
I wish your face